we playing against Texas A&M and we coming to that sideline, I just knew Jake was finna run out of the bound.
Me too.
So he slowed up, sat the dude up, and dropped his shoulder on him and laid two dudes out, and the other dude was on the ground, and he jumped up and he hollered, "Woo!" I said, "Hell yeah!"
Hey, Bo, let me tell you something. Jake dropped that dude. He dropped his shoulder and hit that dude so hard, my shoulder popped out of place. I'm like, God.
Let me say one thing though about that. I mean, there's a lot of different things that come, the thoughts that come to mind on that. But one guy that, look, man, that team meant the world to me. That was my favorite year of football I've ever had. One of the most fun years, of my life. And you can't replace that kind of brotherhood, And I mean, from everybody on that team, I love to death. But I'll say this: one thing that always will mean a lot to me, and one guy that means the world to me is ArDarius Stewart. And I don't know how closely y'all watched ArDarius that year, but he was one of the most unselfish players, teammates I've ever had. I never heard him complain about not getting the ball. When somebody else caught the ball, that touchdown Calvin Ridley scored, go back and watch that. He comes, he's playing X. He comes from across the field, sprinting the whole way, lead block into the end zone. I mean, play after play, just like that all the time. And I mean, as physical as you could possibly be as a receiver, but we're losing Ole Miss, about to lose to Ole Miss. The game's over, and he comes over and sits next to me, and tells me how much he believes in me, how loves me. I'm a leader, this and that. And, in a time where we could have crumbled. And I mean, I was, feeling absolutely terrible about that game. For him to come over and have that conversation with me meant the world to me. It's something I'll never forget. Teammates like that. And there's plenty more guys I could mention, but it's one of those stories that I'll never forget. And prior to that, I get benched before the Ole Miss game, and when they put me in there, and I was so pissed off, I could have thrown 8 interceptions, and I was going in there. I didn't care what happened. I was just playing my ass off, and if I throw 10, I throw 10. I care less. And the fans could have booed me and tried to beat me up after the game. I'd have been fighting them too. I didn't care. It was just, and from that point on, I didn't give a damn about anything but playing my ass off. And if I'd have broke both legs, I'd have played if I could.
Everybody saw that night. Like that's when you won Bama fans over. We didn't win the game, but like you came in late and almost brought the damn team back from a big deficit. So, I mean, that was a night that you kind of showed the Crimson Nation your grit, man. And they kind of fell in love with you, I believe, bud. Everybody wants to play, obviously, when you get there. You want to play as a freshman. You want to play as you start. And, one thing about Alabama, there's a lot of wait your turn. How did that help you, even though you didn't probably sucked at times, to wait a little bit, get that tutelage? And what can you say to the guys like Ty and Lonergan that are waiting their turns in the wings now that why it can be beneficial to you?
I really like Ty.
I think waiting that long has helped me in this, as I get older. What a lot of guys don't understand is that it's a lot more than what you do on the field that's going to get you on the field. You got to do things off the field. You got to lift your teammates up. You got to make the players around you better. And ultimately, it's your coach's decision whether you play or not. He's your boss. It's like any other job out there. You got to do everything right and put yourself in the best position possible to move up and elevate yourself, no matter what world you're in. And if you don't get the job, you don't get the job. You just didn't do enough. And that's kind of how I look back on it. I felt like I put everything I had into Florida State and Alabama. I had moments where, in that 2014 year, I felt sorry for myself, and I look back, I'm ashamed of feeling sorry for myself. There's so many people that love to play at Alabama. And I took a few reps off, and I think about that still. Like, what the hell was wrong with you? For Ty, to me, for Ty to stick around, I think it's going to be it's tough to transition to a new school and try to be a leader at the quarterback position. It just is. Prove your leadership by what you do on the field and show your toughness and show that you're there for everybody else and not just for the rewards that you can get for yourself. Ty, to me, a guy that could leave tomorrow and have, just about any offer he wants, sticks it out at Alabama. He believes in Coach DeBoer. Coach DeBoer had a lot to do with that because I think he is, in terms of offense, probably the best coach in the country. He's done more with less talent than maybe anybody else. But Ty to stick it out at Alabama, you don't see that very often anymore. And to back up Jalen, he seems like he's really grown as a person, as a player. Jalen does leave. I hope he excels at Alabama, does really well, and makes a ton of money at NIL.
I think he will. I think he will, man. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, a guy that sticks around like that, you got to appreciate. I mean, no matter what. Guys, to me, that says he's a high-character guy. He's a guy you can trust, and he's a guy you want a part of your program.